Homer led the league in tackles with 85. The deep ball for Darius Prince, and Philadelphia's on the board first.
On the draw, this is Grayson Allen. And Allen weaving his way all the way down to the 22. 10-yard line, 5. Mayfield, dancing all around. Throwing as far as he can throw it. Jump ball coming. Crazy stuff. Not this time.
And you want to be a wide receiver. You're going to have to take a little bit of a hit like that as Brown got him in that shoulder, but watch. Those are teeth.
Do we have a dentist on staff here?
All right, good morning, everybody. If you've watched this show long enough, you know I like versatility in players that I bring on here. I'm a firm believer in the more you can do, the more valuable you are to a team. And this man sitting next to me here is about as valuable as they come. He can play basically every position on the field outside of offensive line. And I basically am super excited to have him on here today because of that. How you doing this morning, Alonzo?
I'm doing quite well. How about yourself?
Doing great. I'm happy to have you here. As I just spoke about, I'm a huge fan of versatility. So when I was really digging into your career and digging into everything you can do, you quickly became extremely intriguing because honestly, I don't think I've seen a player that can do quite as much as you can do on the field.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and start right there. I mean, we spoke about it in my lead-in. You can play basically every skill position on the field, including quarterback. I thought that was kind of interesting given the fact that you came out of Kentucky State as a linebacker. How did you end up playing every position on the field over your career so far?
Well, quarterback was interesting from last year because like a quarterback messed up his ankle. And it was too late to bring in another import. So, and I knew the playbook, obviously, it's a running back, and I'm a huge, I focus a lot on film and studying my opponents. And actually, my current OC here, Coach Brewster, I told him I was playing quarterback. And, if he had any, because he's a great OC and great with quarterbacks, if he had any advice, he'd walk me through some progressions and stuff to look for. And then I was just letting it rip out there in Poland. Till our starting QB got back, and it's helped bring open a lot of doors and a lot of arena offers and stuff like that, just for my versatility, like Wildcat packages and different things of that nature.
Absolutely. You talk about the arena game, and your versatility is extremely valuable. I mean, you look at 25-man rosters where sometimes they don't even carry a true backup quarterback, and all of a sudden you become extremely valuable being able to play running back, quarterback, as well as some defense. So I'm sure there's a few AFL teams that'll be looking your way this season, hopefully after you're done with your season overseas. But moving on to the next question, as I just spoke about, you actually graduated from college as a linebacker, and yet we see you today primarily playing running back. So how did that transition happen?
Well, when I was first supposed to go to Poland, I couldn't and stuff because the pandemic. But I mean, running back, I've always played both sides of the ball, all throughout high school and things like that. So, I had an offer from University of Kentucky to play running back, then Western and Louisville for linebacker. But I eventually went to University of Louisville, but I had to leave for some personal reasons to transfer to Kentucky State. Some things transpired. But I mean, I've always been asked to do every single thing, so it's not that big of a deal for me. Once I study it, I prepare for my opponents. It becomes cakewalk for me, honestly. So I'm a huge believer in just being a student of the game, and it makes any position that any coach asks me that much easier.
That makes sense. If you're prepared for everything, then you can pretty much do everything. It makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
like one of my favorite players, like Taysom Hill. Like I love Taysom Hill. That's just a football player. Like, and I try to
yeah,
model my game somewhat after him.
I'm glad you brought him up because he's about to one of my favorite players in any league because of what he can do. He's extremely fun to watch. Plus, he was great on fantasy football teams when you could stash him as a tight end and get quarterback
Yeah,
points. So there was always that aspect of his game too. But
absolutely.
heading into your post-collegiate career, you end up landing with the Detroit Cougars. At this time, which position were you playing, and how did you end up with the Cougars?
I was playing outside linebacker and like edge rusher at that time.
Very nice. Are you originally from Detroit? I noticed you seem to keep ending up in Michigan.
Um, but actually, it's my mom's side of the family is from up there, but it's called the Riley Professional Football League. It's like a developmental league and stuff. So it's like, you know what? After college, I went up there, made a team at camp, and just dominated it. Just I had like because we only got to play 2 games because something happened with the league, but I think I had like 9 sacks in 2 games and like 8 tackles for loss. Because like once my preferred like put my foot in the dirt and just come roaring right off the edge like Von Miller.
Okay, interesting. I was not expecting to hear that, but so your favorite position would be like an outside edge rusher?
Yeah, but that and middle linebacker just because I love contact.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I mean, I'm sure there's a AFL team out there that's interested in another linebacker slash fullback type player. So
Yeah.
definitely we'll have to try and spread your film around here. Speaking of film, this seems like a perfectly good time to play your college highlights. So
She out the way.
then mute that so we can continue to talk over it.
Okay.
But so your time with the Cougars helped you earn your first opportunity overseas, I believe, with the Krakow Kings, who play in Poland. Talk to me about this opportunity and how much of a culture shock it was for you to go over to Poland.
Well, it was the language barrier, but besides that, the football. I mean, they was like very aggressive. I thought it was gonna be like kind of soft, but we had some players. I mean, they was like just absolute dogs. Like some of the basic fundamentals in like Europe and stuff, and here in Australia, it's like lacking. But you find several players on every team that's just like, oh man, I was not expecting him to come like that, you know. So yeah, man, it wasn't football's football, you know. The quarterback play is a lot better because like they sign quarterbacks left and right in Europe. So you know it's fun.
Absolutely. Everybody wants a good quarterback, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm curious the level of coaching that you've received over there. I know a lot of times they kind of ask players from America to be unofficial coaches per se to kind of help teach the other players on the roster. Was there a lot of that there, or was it mainly you were able to focus on playing?
When I was with the Austin Lakers, I kind of was in a way, but our coach was actually American, Matthew Kersey. And like, I mean, he always asked for my input, you know, in the offense. What was I comfortable with, and what was I seeing? And even when I was just playing running back, when I started, QB was there. He gave me permission to like call audibles. Like I might was supposed to get the ball, but I'm seeing like a back slant or a post, and he allowed me to like talk to the quarterback and like, okay, we need to do this here because this is not open. So he actually like valued my opinion on what I'm seeing on the field versus just his alone.
Interesting. Obviously, we hear about that a lot of the times from the quarterback position, but that's awesome that he was giving you that power as a running back. I mean, honestly, I strongly encourage every coach to take input from their players. I mean, that only builds a relationship with your players that more of an open door policy, which I think is a good thing always.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, as you just spoke about, your next stop was with the Alston Raiders, also in Poland. How did the two teams compare in terms of how they treated their players?
I mean, they treat American imports, I mean, so well. Like, there's always a big party whenever us Americans arrive. lifelong friendships. You know, the opportunities to go back. You know, I haven't ruled that out. It's really family oriented out there, and I mean they take care of their Americans like nobody's business because like at the European League game and stuff, I mean it's really growing, and the only way it's definitely going to grow is if the Americans are treated with the respect that we deserve and that we earn to like help grow their game. So they're very big on treating the imports and taking care of us very well.
That's good, and I totally agree. I mean, obviously, American football is a staple of our country. You know, the NFL is everywhere you go. You know, XFL, USFL, all these different leagues now, all the different arena leagues. So definitely, if there's a leading country when it comes to football, it's definitely us. So yeah, I would agree that bringing in American imports and treating them well and convincing them to continue to come back and help teach your country and the national players is a huge thing for these leagues overseas. So
Oh, absolutely.
I'm glad to hear that. So which positions were you playing during these two stops?
Running back, I've lined up a receiver on some plays and stuff like that. But yeah, I was mainly running back and stuff out there, and then quarterback last season for a few games, while our starting QB was recovering from his injury.
Gotcha. So I guess I already kind of asked what's your favorite position to play. What special teams units have you played on so far in your career? I assume basically
Every single one. Kicker, punter. I love kickoff. Just because I can just run full speed and just go get that dude. So I just love being on the field. I hate coming off. It makes me mad when I do come off. So.
That's fair. So it looks like your next stop was with the South Michigan Apex in 2023.
Yeah.
What was your time with the Apex like, and what was your first experience with arena football like?
Oh man, the game is definitely faster. And you see like a lot of guys who've been cut from NFL squads and things like that, trying to get their footage to get back in and stuff. One of my teammates here, who's here with me in Australia, Lance Billings II. Like, I got to go against like tremendous athletes. Where just like just the thrill of the competition and just like the crowd, the fans, the light shows and stuff. Like when the cheerleaders are even just like going out throwing out T-shirts, it was just like it's an unbelievable experience and just what real great talent. Where it's like okay. It's something. It's lights, camera, action, and that was incredible. And the coach out there, Lawrence Peters, like he let me be me, which is super aggressive, and his coaching is aggressive. And I mean, he's a great coach, and he always like asked my input because I was leading a team as the middle linebacker. What was I seeing and things? He was very open and communicated with me very well. And he just like let the dog out. Just like go get him, and I'm thankful for him every day.
That's amazing. I've actually heard a lot of good things about Lawrence Peters on this show. Ironically, now that I think about it, this is episode 3 of the Player of the Week podcast, and I think you're the 3rd player that has played for the South Michigan Apex that I've had on already. Actually,
yeah. Like my boy Pat Coe.
Yep, and then Brandon Priester was episode 2, and he was there for a little bit this past season as well.
Yeah.
So kind of crazy. Man, I mean, watching your film, I have to say I'm impressed. You seem like you have an innate ability to split blocks here. Watching repeatedly, just gliding right through 2 blockers and taking down the ball carrier. When it comes to instincts, I mean, how do you go about determining when to trust yourself and when to pause a little bit before kind of just shooting a gap?
Just watching the play honestly develop. My mom actually introduced me to football. She kind of coached me ironically. So just being patient, trusting my gut, and then I mean, if you see the person with the ball, take his butt out. And that's just, I'm not gonna let no one get past me. That doesn't happen. My ego won't let that happen. He's going down one way or another. Big hit, ankle wrap, it doesn't matter. I'm definitely that's my biggest asset. I'm a for sure tackle. So
100%. 100%. It seems like there isn't many missed tackles when it comes to your game so far, at least from what I've seen. So definitely interesting to see that. Are these highlights with the Raiders?
No, I haven't made that highlight tape yet. That would be posted probably. My mid-season highlights will be posted probably about next 2 weeks or so. We just had a game yesterday and we won 39-17. Had a really good game there. I caused like 4 fumbles, blocked the field goal and stuff. So I had some really good hits. So all that stuff will be coming soon.
Very nice. I didn't realize you were in season over there right now.
Yeah, we're 5-0. We're going for a championship.
Very nice. So talk to me about playing year-round. I know you kind of transition when this season ends over to the arena football game and then transition back. I mean, how did you get that whole flow down to where you're playing overseas and you come back home and play?
I just like my body always feels good. There's some games, it's a tough recovery day, but I just love the game. I'm 29. I only got about 7-8 years left in me. Like I feel like barring injury, God willing not. And I love the game, man, like so much. I'm passionate about it, and I'm a thrill seeker. I absolutely love competition. That's my biggest thing. Like it's just a game where you can let out all your anger, controlled anger, obviously, and just go out there and compete, man. And there's no better feeling than this is my heaven on earth is when I'm on the field, because it's like the whole world stops.
Absolutely. So we kind of breezed over it a little bit there, but you said your mother helped you get your start in football. That's kind of a little different than most people, it seems, especially today, with the concerns about concussions and whatnot. How did your mother get you started playing football? And at what age?
When I was like 4 or 5, though, it was the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens was playing. She's a big fan of Ray Lewis. Like,
Okay.
if my mom could play football, she would. And she was like, "You want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah." Then she's just like, from 5, my dad started coaching me. They put me in, and my mom's my biggest critic, my biggest fan. She watched everything. She knows more football than most men, actually. She's a big inspiration, and want to continue to keep playing and making her proud and stuff. So, her and my father.
Absolutely. So obviously we talked about you playing overseas more often than not. How tough is it to play overseas when all of your relatives are back here?
It's every team's different. You have your really good teams and you have like your really bad teams. That's just like even like they're in the arena, some teams are getting blown out. It's sometimes like here it's tough to like engage when it's like a kind of a bad team, just because like you don't want to play down to your competition, but it's like I'm still working on that, just going all out against whoever I play. That's one thing my coaches are getting into my head here. But there's good, there's bad, just that's just how it is in the world. So it's just going out there, dominating, competing at a high level.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. So real quick, we're closing in here on the end of the interview, and I know that you had some news that you wanted to share with us. I wanted to save this to the end because this is kind of a goal of highlighting free agents, but you kind of beat me to the punch here and signed a contract already. So why don't you go and tell us where you're signed to going forward?
Actually, I haven't signed, but I have some arena offers that I will be making a decision on my 2024 plans here in the next 3 weeks. And the first we would know about it is Sam. So got to do some evaluations and stuff, contract details, but decision will be coming with you here in the next 3 weeks.
Absolutely. We'll have to get you back on when you finally ink the contract, and we can do an announcement then.
Yes, sir.
So real quick, I got to ask, obviously you said you're 29 years old. You still have 7, 8 years left to play. Will you stay tied to football after your playing career?
What I plan on doing?
Yeah, are you gonna stay tied to football? You know, is that
I don't know if I have the patience to like coach full time. I'm just going to use my degree and just jump right into cybersecurity, most likely.
okay? Okay, that makes perfect sense. So, ironically enough, we will not be seeing you surrounding the football field after your career. Okay, so basically, this is a give it everything you got, and then walk
Yeah.
away. Interesting. We don't hear that answer often. It seems like the vast majority of the time, players are, I'm going to coach, I'm going to do something related to the game. So that's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, like if players are messing up, like I'm gonna want to jump on that field and stuff, and I spend too much money on my degree not to use that thing. So
That's completely fair. Maybe someday I'll have to hire you to take care of my website and stuff like that.
I got you, no problem.
Sounds good. So I really appreciate you coming on, Alonzo. I wish you nothing but luck in the future. Real quick before you get out of here, where can we catch your games?
Right now they're not sure. Out here in Australia, they're not streamed live. But they will be here soon. So, and I know our championship game is. The game is still growing out here. That's why me and other Americans are out here. So, but if anything else changes, you'll be the first to know.
Awesome. Yeah, please let me know. And then, when you guys get to the championship game, if that is streamed live, let me know. I'd be happy to share it all over our social media, try and get a little bit more viewership there. Because honestly, like you said, if we continue to grow the game in other countries, it's only going to be better for American football in general. There's a lot of high-level athletes in other countries that play other sports because football is simply not available to them. So, with all these new leagues popping up and with all these guys like Alonzo that are going over there and teaching the game to these other guys, we're only going to be blessed with more and better athletes in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you get out of here. I really appreciate your time. This was a very informative interview, and I learned a little bit, to be quite honest, because I didn't know much about the Polish or Australian game before this. So definitely learned a little bit while I was doing my research, and I appreciate you for that. And one of these days, I would like to get you on to speak a little bit more about those two leagues that you play in, and maybe break them down a little bit more for us.
Oh, absolutely. We can definitely do that, boss.
Awesome. Well, definitely keep in touch. I would love to follow you throughout your career, and I can't wait to see where you land for the 2024 season.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Have a good rest of your day.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.